Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're breaking down this really counterintuitive system for using AI to actually train your brain, not just, replace it. Because right now, most people are letting this incredible technology make their thinking weaker. We're going to show you how a select few are using it to get, well, dangerously smart. All right, let's really get into this. See, the common approach, what pretty much everyone does, is they just ask AI for easy answers. And honestly, that's a huge trap. It feels good in the moment, but you're letting AI become this mental crutch. Meanwhile, a tiny group of people is using it backwards to build what you could almost call an unfair advantage. So the big question is, how are they actually doing it? Well, it all comes down to a 4-step framework. And look, this is a system that's designed to take you from just using AI for, simple convenience and move you toward real profound cognitive growth. This is way beyond just writing better prompts. It's about completely changing the way you think.
Okay, step one. It's called intelligent laziness, and it's all about being absolutely ruthless with where you spend your mental energy. See, we all have this weird little biological glitch. It's called completion bias. Basically, your brain gives you a little dopamine hit every time you finish a task. Doesn't matter if it's big or small. So what happens? We end up treating $1 million strategy and like a simple internal email as equally important. And that is just a complete disaster for your productivity. And this slide just lays it out so perfectly. It shows the two curves of all the work you do. So over on the left, you've got your capped payoff tasks. You see how that arrow just flattens out? That's diminishing returns in action. Spending an extra hour making the font on a presentation perfect, it adds basically zero value. But then look at the right. Those are the uncapped payoff tasks. That arrow, it just goes to the moon. We're talking exponential returns here. Think about it. Being just 1% better at something like product design could literally solve 99% of your other problems. So, what do you do with all those capped payoff tasks? The guiding principle comes from Nobel laureate Herbert Simon, and it's a concept called satisficing. It's pretty simple, really. You do just enough to meet the criteria, to make it good enough, and then you stop. And I want to be clear, this is not about being lazy in a bad way. It's about being intelligently lazy, so you can save your absolute best energy for the work that actually moves the needle. So how do you actually handle those capped payoff tasks? Simple. You delegate them. And here's a great little framework for it. DRAG. You use AI for drafting just to get over that blank page problem, for research to pull together information way faster, for analysis to find patterns you might miss, and for grunt work, all that boring manual stuff like reformatting data. The whole point is to outsource all this low-impact stuff so you can pour every ounce of your soul into the high-impact, uncapped payoff work. All right, that brings us to step 2, the intelligent hill. And you can see how this all starts to build on itself, right? We've figured out what to delegate. Now we need to figure out how to talk to the AI to get truly elite-level results. This is all about making that shift from being just a passive user to an active architect of what the AI produces. Okay, first things first, we have to unlearn our old tech habits. You got to stop treating AI like a calculator. A calculator is predictable, right? 2 plus 2 is always going to be 4. AI is not like that at all. It's a probability engine. You can ask it the same question twice and get 2 totally different answers. It can be absolutely brilliant one second and then just completely confused the next. And here's the kicker, it will almost never admit it doesn't know something. So you can't just throw a question at it. You have to carefully architect it. So this is that intelligent hill you need to climb. Seriously, most people just stay at the bottom asking really basic questions. But watch this. At level 1, you've got one-shot prompting. You give it one good example to follow. Then you climb to level 2, few-shot, where you give it, say, 3 or more examples to really ground it in reality. Then, level 3, this is chain of thought. This is where you force the AI to slow down and show you its work step by step. And then you get to the top, level 4, agents. This is where you tell it to assemble an entire team, a researcher, an analyst, a writer, all from a single prompt. Climbing this hill, this is how you go from just rolling the dice to actually driving the car. Okay, and now for the big plot twist. We just spent all this time talking about efficiency and speed, right? Well, the top 1%, they do something that sounds completely backwards. They deliberately slow things down. Why? Because real long-term intelligence isn't built on convenience. It's built on resistance. And this quote just illustrates the danger perfectly. I mean, think about it. If you use AI as a wheelchair for your mind,
Well, if you sit in a wheelchair when you can still walk, what happens? Your legs stop working. They get weak. We absolutely cannot let AI do that to our brains. It's like living in zero gravity for your mind. Your mental muscles will just atrophy.
So the secret here is just knowing which gear you're supposed to be in. For what we'd call an information task, you just need a quick answer. Your goal is to remove all the friction. Get it fast. But for a transformation task, where the goal is for you to build a new skill, you have to intentionally add friction. It's just like lifting weights at the gym. The resistance is exactly what creates the growth.
And this is such a powerful mindset shift. In this intelligent gym, AI is your spotter. It's not there to lift the weights for you. I mean, that would completely defeat the point, right? No, it stands by to help you push your own limits, to help you lift heavier than you could on your own, and, to make sure you don't get crushed by the material. But make no mistake, you still have to do the work. So here's an incredibly practical way you can do this. Next time you study a concept on your own, go ask the AI to quiz you. But don't just stop there. You gotta apply progressive overload, just like in the gym. So you start small. Say, quiz me like I'm a high school student. Then, okay, now quiz me like I'm a college student. Then you ramp it up. Grill me like you're interviewing me for an executive job. And for the final level, challenge me like you're an irate boss who thinks I'm totally unprepared. This forces you, under pressure, to really, really deepen your understanding. And pushing yourself like that in the intelligent gym, that brings us to our final and honestly, the most profound step. And this one isn't some new technique. It's an internal adjustment that completely changes the game. It's all about learning how to overcome your own ego. When Satya Nadella took over as CEO of Microsoft, the culture there was apparently pretty toxic. Everybody was just pretending to know everything. And he made this one crucial shift. He told the entire company, we're going to stop being know-it-alls and we're going to become learn-it-alls. And what that did was it gave the absolute smartest people in the room permission to finally say, I don't know. The result? It was staggering. That is the result. $3 trillion. Microsoft's market cap went from $300 billion to over $3 trillion. That's a 10x increase in a decade. And look, this wasn't just some clever business strategy. It was fueled by the power of embracing the beginner's mind, the power of being willing to play the fool. So what this shows us is that the biggest obstacle to getting smarter isn't ignorance. It's not what we don't know. It's our ego. It's our pretense of knowing. Think about it. Real learning, where your brain actually rewires itself, it only happens right at the edge of your ability. It happens when you're frustrated and making mistakes. I mean, if you aren't feeling at least a little bit stupid, you probably aren't really learning. And that's why AI is so incredible for this. It is the ultimate, safe, judgment-free space to ask all the basic questions you're too embarrassed to ask a person. Okay, so here is your action item, your challenge. I want you to pick one thing in your field, something you pretend to understand, but secretly you really don't. We all have one. And then go to an AI and just ask it the most basic questions you can think of. Go ahead. Even ask it, teach me like I'm 10 years old. Yeah, you might feel a little ridiculous at first, but you have to have the courage to play the fool today so you can become the genius tomorrow. Because at the end of the day, what will you have the courage to play the fool for? The real purpose of intelligence isn't just to stop being ignorant. It's having the courage to stop pretending.